about that. It just cut out. Okay, so the reason why it was symbolic about throwing the coconuts is the coconuts are the outer hard shell is the ego. And when the ego is breaking, it's breaking for the softness inside, which is the vulnerability. And so literally that symbolized that he was trying to keep her away because at the moment he's battling with his own ego. So very symbolic. And of course, then when I loaded the book and I went onto Kindle and I saw it was a little boy at the bottom of the tree, I was like, wow, how amazing. Now, I'm also going to share with you a letter that I've just, a note that I've just received from a divine masculine who has been going through this part, like a couple of days ago or last week, he messaged me to say he's actually not with his twin anymore. His twin told him that he was too, they split up. Then I think they've had, basically it's been on and off, on and off. And now I'm just going to tell you what he's written to me because it will give everyone some strength and courage to keep on going. So, it is so funny that you spoke about the coconuts as I live in South Florida, where I am surrounded by them. I want to take time to tell you about an interesting weekend with my twin that ties into the waves we're experiencing. And 100% this has all been thanks to your faith in the collective and my faith in healing and putting the final nail in the coffin regarding ending codependent cycle. This past Saturday, I actually walked away from my twin and walked away from the relationship because I felt this overwhelming need to do so, as I felt if I didn't, we would stay in this cycle of codependency. I told him I thought it was for the best and that I leave this situation because I can't sit and wait for him to decide if he wants to be with me and that I needed to live my life unchained to his indecisiveness. It hurt like hell to do that, but at the same time, I felt so good and empowered doing so. So I didn't speak to my twin the following day. I just relaxed and focused on reflecting and doing things I enjoyed and wanted to do. Well, today, as I was on my way home from work, he called me and literally asked me to marry him. He literally said, I need you to marry me. I love you and I can't be without you. I literally laughed and was like, are you serious? He said, yeah. I said, well, slow down. Let's slow this race down. I explained that I would love to eventually, but let's be practical and take it one step at a time. Keep in mind, I noticed 2 card tags with the numbers 22 and 44 just before he called. I took this as a sign from the divine saying, hey, you can start now. So we are going slow, but things seem much lighter now, and I feel extra tuned into the divine and continue to ask for guidance. Thank you so much for all of your guidance and reassurance that faith and hope are the keys in the path towards divine union. Wow. There you go. So it just shows you that things can turn on their head just super quick. And that is so amazing, getting that email this morning, because the other thing, he mentions the 22. 22 is the sign of the Star of David. The Star of David is divine feminine, divine masculine, divine union. And as it goes, I had downloaded this Kindle book today, and the letter that it was on was the number 22. Of course. And so, this is why you have to trust that whatever is happening for your dynamic at the moment, your pathway home is written in your heart, right? And so as soon as you go into your mind and you go into the fears and doubts and blah, blah, blah and everything else, that is where it puts you off track, because the more that you just know, and the more you enter into that space of, I absolutely know that we are going to be together. There's no question, right? There is no question in my mind at all. The one thing that you have to know is that the way to do that, and to do that in the calmest way possible, is to really focus on your heart connection, because you are already together in the heart, right? And just like the healing that I saw for this lady yesterday, the fact that he was a little boy throwing coconuts out of the tree, and the lady is just literally just sending me an email now. So the fact that he was throwing coconuts out of the tree, I mean, it's so clever, because of course I was thinking I asked him why the coconuts, because they were very significant, right? And so that's why, because the coconuts are showing the shattering of the ego. And when you move out of your ego and being into that vulnerability, it's not an easy place, right? But you have exactly what had happened with that couple, right? Because beforehand, he had emailed me to say his twin's frightened and has finished it. And then now he's come back to say, actually, his now twins has asked him to marry him. So, like, quite a quick change around. But, which is why I'm telling you that anything is possible, and you have to trust. You have to trust in your journey. You have to trust in your story, and the more you place your faith and trust in the business in the business of love, then the more that you'll be able to ride the waves. So that is the message, right? So if you would like to come to a healing, I basically can see your energies, right? So I see everything like a film. I get songs and different things. And just like that lady, she came back to me, she said, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed to hear at that time. Because of course, he tried to throw her off track by saying, oh, I'm dating someone else, right? And of course, if you're a bit of a caged animal and somebody is pushing your buttons or pushing your vulnerabilities, then of course, the first thing that you want to do is try to push that person away. So you have to, that's why you have to focus on really you have to see beyond situations. You have to understand, to really get into the heart connection, because then it allows you to see, okay, what is that making them do? Because if they're battling their ego and battling their thoughts of wanting to be, being more vulnerable, it's a very uncomfortable place for a lot of people. And if they're not used to opening their heart and being vulnerable and trusting that they can do that, then that's where people do very odd things to try to protect themselves. But they're not really protecting themselves, because actually what he really wants is to be with her. It's just that he's frightened that he can't. So, but that's the message today. The other message is that I've put an advert into the description box, which is for Waitrose. And this is so lovely because, again, this shows you the power of the twin telepathy. Because on the Waitrose advert, that was the first advert that popped up for me this morning. I knew it was a message from my twin because his favourite supermarket is Waitrose. Haha, why is that? Because he's saying, wait for me, Rose, right? And I go into the description box, and the second comment has 27 replies. 27 is a sign of walking away from all energies that are not supporting you anymore. I look into it, and if you follow my messages before, me and my twin had this weird moment when we were talking about his uncle, and I said to him, oh, he's not called Godfrey, is he? And my twin nearly dropped his drink, because he was kind of like, yeah, he is. I was like, oh, shut up, he's not called Godfrey. And because, of course, if you just think about the symbolism around that name, God-free, God, realizing this journey will give you freedom, right? And realizing that there's a master plan will give you your freedom. And actually, as it goes, his uncle was called Godfrey. And I was just like, what? So it was a very weird moment, because he was kind of like, how did you guess that? And I was like, I have no idea. Well, obviously, I didn't know. I mean, why would... And that just shows you the telepathy between the twins, right? How powerful it is. And so, of course, in the comments under the 27 is Godfrey. And so I was like, oh, that's so brilliant. And the whole message around that in the advert, I've put it in the description box, is basically saying that everyone gets holed up in the snow for Christmas. And even though that at the end, when Christmas Day comes and somebody comes to set them free, they don't want to be